Good morning, everybody. So, today in geomorphology, we're going to learn about weathering and mass movement. Weathering is basically about describes the breaking down or dissolving of rock and minerals. Okay, so on the surface of the earth, water, ice, acids, salts, plants, animals, and changes in the temperature are all agents of weathering. Okay, so and weathering is one of the important, very is a process which carve the features, physical features of the earth. Okay, so that's why we are going to learn about weathering. Just hold on. Mm, right. So again, to come again with the definition of weathering, it is the process that involves breaking up and decaying of exposed rock material. It is a static process, and it prepares the rock of the removal by other agents of erosion. This is the process, or it is like near earth surface are caused by the earth and the mineral which is broken down. Okay. uh, no, what, again, we have talked about what are the responsible elements: water, ice, acids, salt, plants, animals, temperature. So, so these are the what do you call agents of weathering. So, intensive insolation will give you temperature, thermal expansion and contraction of diurnal change, rainfall, frost, abrasion by air and water, change in the air, air temperature, then characteristics of rocks, hardness of rocks, or chemical composition or texture. Even joints influence the vegetative cover over the rocky features. Animals, especially burrowing animals, are all elements of weathering. So once a rock has been broken down in a process called erosion, and transports their debris to bits of rocks and mineral away, no rock on the earth is hard enough to resist the force of weathering, right? So there is no rock on the earth which is hard enough to resist the force of weathering. Some rocks will weather faster, some rocks will weather slower. Okay, so these processes carved the these weathering processes, these processes of weathering and erosion carve together the process that carves the landmarks or the land features, such as canyons and valley, waterfall, meandering river, and all those things are all because of the weathering and erosional processes, right? So weathering and erosional are constantly changing the rocky landscape of the earth. Okay, so weathering wears away exposes surfaces over time. Okay, so the length of the exposure of for often contributes to how vulnerable a rock is to weathering. Okay, so such as lavas that are quickly buried beneath the rocks are less vulnerable to weathering, right? And erosion than the rocks that are exposed, igneous rocks which are buried under this layer of earth will be less vulnerable to erosion, whereas rocks which are exposed to the with external environment will be more vulnerable to weathering processes. So as it smooths smooth with the weathering and erosional process, it's a smooth the rough surfaces, scrapes of the rocks and surface. Weathering is often is the first step which produces the land, the soil. Okay, so soil composition for the composition of the soil, that is the weathering is the first step a going any rock material converting into soil. So tiny bits of weathered minerals mixed with plants, animal, remains, fungus, bacteria, and other organisms together compose of soil. So a single type of weathered rock often produces, infertile soil. So while weathered material from a, is a form a collection of rock which is rich in minerals and diversity and contributes to more fertile soil. So soil types associated with mixtures of rock, including glacial tile, layers, alluvial sediments. So they are often, weathering is often divided into the process of mechanical weathering, chemical weathering, or biological weathering, right? So the what are the types of weathering? So weatherings can be, can be mechanical, chemical, or biological weathering, in which living or non-living organisms contribute to weathering and can be part of the processes. Okay. So now, weathering, mechanical weathering. Mechanical weathering is also called as physical weathering, and degradation or caused by rock breaking down or crumbling down. Okay, so mechanical weathering process that breaks down rock or minerals into small pieces without altering its composition is mechanical weathering. Okay, so like water in either liquid or solid form is often a key agent of mechanical weathering. For instance, liquid water can seep into cracks and crevices into the rocks. Okay, and if the temperature drops enough, so that the water freezes. So we know when water freezes, it expands. Okay, so when water freezes, it expands, and the ice then works as a wedge between the crevices that widens it. So as the crevices is filled up with water, and if the temperature goes below the freezing point, water freezes down, and in the process of freezing down of water expands, and it will widen the gap between the rock, right? So it is a slow widening the cracks and splits the rock into further more small pieces. So when ice melts, the liquid water performs and acts as a uh, eroding material, and it carries it away to from one place to another place. The small fragments can be taken away when the water when the ice melts down and becomes water, and it can be flown out from the area. So this specific process, that is freeze thaw cycle, is called as frost weathering. Okay, so what is it called? It is called frost weathering or cryofracturing. Okay, so mechanical weathering in which water is frozen down, and when it further breaks down the soil material, it is called as what do you call mechanical weathering, or cryofracturing. Okay, so the temperature change can also contribute to mechanical weathering in a process called thermal stress. Okay, what happens is, this is what we are talking about when things are going below the temperature. When temperature is exceeding, when it is very high in temperature, when the weather is very hot, so the temperature change can also contribute mechanical weathering in the process that is called thermal stress. Thermal means heat. So the change in the thermal cause a rock to expand and contract. Okay, so as it happens over and over again, the expansion and contraction, it generally happens in arid region where you have less atmospheric moisture. Humidity is less, arid weather. So what happens is the diurnal variation in the temperature is very high. That is, in night it will be very cold, and at the day it will be very hot. and as though rock materials get heated up very fast and cools down very fast. So the cooling and the heating of the rock material of such sudden change causes expansion and contraction. As this happens over and over for a very longer period of time, the cracks and crevices and the joints in the rock material weakens, and further it gets widened up and degrade. So over time it crumbles. So it happens in rocky desert landscapes are particular vulnerable to thermal stress. Okay, so the outer layer of the desert rocks undergoes repeated stress as the temperature changes from day to night. Eventually outer layer flakes off the thin sheets of eroded material, and it gets exfoliated. Okay, so exfoliation contributes to the formation of uh, what do you call, barren heart. Okay, one of the most dramatic features of the landscape of aeolian landscape, actually, formed by weathering or erosion of the by the winds, but it happens predominantly in the areas which is of very dry temperature. uh, so um Boron hots are tall, domed, isolated rock often found in tropical areas, and Sugarloaf Mountains and Ionic landmarks in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil is one of the Boron hot landmarks. I'll show you to you. So the change in the pressure can also contribute in exfoliation or due to the weathering. Uh, in this process, it is called the uploading or overlying material are removed from underlying rocks. Okay, so release from overlying pressure can then expand as the rock surface expands. Okay, so this becomes a vulnerable fractures in the process it called sheeting. Okay, so it sheet like formation it happens. So another type of mechanical weathering which occurs when clay or other materials near the rock absorb water. So clay more porous than rock and can swell with water, weathering the surrounding harder rocks. Salt also work to weather rocks in a process called holocausti. Okay, so the salt water sometimes gets into the cracks and pores of the rock. So if the salt water evaporates, salt crystals are left behind. So as these crystals grow, they put more pressure on the rock and slowly it breaks it apart. Okay, then you have honeycomb weathering. These are all parts of mechanical weathering. So honeycomb weathering is associated with holocausti. So it is as it simply implies, honeycomb like shape of weathering pattern which happens here due to these crystalline crystals, salt crystals happening here. Okay, so not it is not only limited to closed coastal landscape. Saltwater upwelling, like geological processes of underground salt dome also expand and can contribute to weathering of overlying rock structure in an like for example ancient city of Creta, that is in Jordan, where man-made, unstable, and often collapse due to the salt upwelling from the ground below. Okay, so the any man-made structure which is there, it can get collapse because the upwelling of salt from below the surface. Now plants and animals can contribute, can be agents of mechanical weathering, as like for seeds of any plant or tree sprouting from the cracks and crevices, that the with this whatever amount of soil which is there collected in the cracks and crevices of the rocks. So as the root grows and widens, the cracks further widens with the growing plant or the sapling, so eventually breaking the rock into pieces. So over time trees can break apart even larger rocks Even small plants can all such as mosses can enlarge tiny cracks as they grow in between them. Okay, so animals that the burrowing animals that builds burrows under the ground, such as mole rats, prairie dogs, basically mole rats and prairie dogs, that works to break apart rocks and soil under the surfaces. The other animals that dig trample rock ground above the ground, causing rock to also slowly crumble. Okay, so this is your mechanical weathering. Then we have chemical weathering. So chemical weathering, the process is the change the chemical composition of the rock and the mineral. Okay, so chemical weathering is the changes the molecular structure of the rock and the soil. So for instance, carbon dioxide from the air or soil, sometimes combined with water in a process called carbonation. So this process produces a weak solution of acid called carbonic acid, and that can dissolve rock material. Like carbonic acid can also dissolve rock materials, especially affecting the sedimentary rocks like limestone. Okay, so it is carbonic acid can highly corrosive or reactive with limestone, which has calcium as its component. So when carbonic acid seeps through limestone underground, it can open up a huge cracks or hollow it from beneath, and causes a vast networks of caves and caverns in these types of land features. Now Carlsberg caverns in National Park, USA, um, then in New Mexico, then in certain Himalayan regions, certain these specifically these types of rock formation gives rise to karst topography. All right, a very vivid network of karst topography. Sometimes, chemical weathering dissolves large portion of limestone or other rock materials on the surface of the earth to form a landscapes called karst. So in these areas, the surface rocks is uh, pocket marked with holes and sinkholes and caves and caverns, stalagmites and stalagmites on all those things. So another type of chemical weathering which works on rocks, as it contains iron. So these are the rocks that turns turns red oxidation. So in chemical weathering, you have another process called oxidation. Apart for carbonication, you have oxidation. Sorry, I've covered this. All right. Yeah. Mechanical weathering. You see, this is the mechanical weathering. This is because of the diurnal change. Plants, trees, and saplings which are growing in the caves and crevices are moving away and making the gap between the rocks further widen. Uh, Okay, now these are again limestone rocks, and this is sheet formation. This is especially happens when temperature is varying, and there is different sheet like formation, and it weathers slowly and slides down. Okay, uh, all right. So this is sheet formation when it the salt material uprises from the beneath of the surface, and it starts expanding furthermore upward. So these sheet formations happen. Okay, and this is how it breaks down. Okay, exfoliation. We have talked about exfoliation. Okay, this is what happens is when salt rock materials are upwelling, and they breaks into several pieces and they slides down. Okay, this is the entire process of exfoliation. chemical processes, we have talked about chemical processes, where you have, okay, in this also you have, um, climate, temperature, and animals playing a important role here. But now we are talking about, apart from carbonication, we have oxidation. Oxidation, that is the it rust is a compound created by the interaction of oxygen and ferrous materials. So ferrous materials, there are many rock, soil minerals and rock which are rich in iron content, ferrous content. Okay, so iron, in presence of the water, it starts rusting or oxidizing. As a rust expands, it weakens the rock material and helps it to break in further partitions. Then you have another process of chemical weathering is called hydration. From chemical weathering, you have hydration, or in which the chemical bond of minerals are changed as it interacts with water. Okay. Okay, now chemical weathering, we have talked about oxidation, hydrolyzation, carbonication. Then we will talk about solution and dissolution. So in hydration or hydrolysis, it is a form of chemical weathering, which is a mineral, or chemical bond of minerals are changed as it interact with water. So in one instance for hydration is that, or hydrolysis is that, causes the mineral anthride, which reacts with groundwater. So like, anthride, when it reacts with water, transforms to gypsum, right? Anthracite, when it mixes with water, it gives you gypsum. So one of the most common mineral on the earth is gypsum. So another familiar form of chemical weathering is hydrolysis, in which the hydrolysis uh, is a new solution. um, it forms as a chemical and rock interaction with water and many other rock. For example, sodium minerals interact with water to form salt water, right? Salt water solution. So hydration and hydrolysis contribute to a flared slope, that is another dramatic example of landscape formed by weathering or erosional, flared slopes or concave rock formations. So sometimes, rock formation like wave rocks are, they are some of the nicknames which is given their shape, because of this shape of the large results which has come off because of it. Okay, now, living on one, living organisms can also be the agents of chemical weathering, like decaying remnants of plants and animals forms carbonic acid, which is a very weak solution, but can weaken and dissolve rock materials. Some bacterias can weather rocks in order to access nutrients such as magnesium or potassium. uh, Clay minerals includes quartz are among the most common byproduct of chemical weathering. Like clay make up of about 40% of the chemical in the sedimentary rocks in the earth. Okay, so in chemical weathering, we have oxidation, hydration, carbonication, solution, dissolution, and biological weathering. Now we coming to biological weathering. Okay, biological weathering, that is, plant and animal are the agents of biological weathering, and they bring about both chemical as well as mechanical weathering of the rocks. So mechanical weathering is mainly brought by growing roots of plants and animals, or burrowing animals, making burrowing burrows in the surface of the earth. Also, tree roots that grows and extends in a considerable manner can also force the rock materials to break further in, which brings about chemical weathering, that rock becomes weak in their particulates are loosened by the burrowing animals like mole rats and rabbits. And chemical weathering, where plants and animals are mainly brought through the organic acid produced by them. So animal produce here human acids, which brings about decomposition of from the decomposition of the various organic material. And this acidic content of the soil water increases due to the presence of vegetation furthermore, so bringing down the chemical weathering. Okay, now these are the burrowing animals. If you see, they will keep burrowing into the surface, and they will become a part of weathering agents of weathering. So they, yeah, this is a picture of tarantula, one of the biggest, largest spiders in the world. Then you have spring rabbits, sorry, spring rats. This is a rabbit. Or here, if you see, mole rats. Okay, lizards. Then even large animals in the desertic region, they will burrow holes and take shelter during heat, to take shelter during heat. Now, before coming to mass movement, let's talk about weathering and how human beings or anthropogenic activities interact with it. Weathering is a natural process, but human activity can also speed up weathering. So, like for example, certain kinds of air pollution increases due to the rate of weathering. Like we go for mining exploration. That for mining also we will scrape of the surface of the earth to extract minerals. So mining is also a contributing weathering pattern. Then mining and industrial activities can result into acid rain, which can furthermore accelerate the rate of chemical weathering. Okay. Then road construction, and there are endless anthropogenic activities which results into weathering pattern on the surface of the earth. Okay. So now coming to mass movement. Okay, just hold on. Now, mass movement is also called as mass wasting. It's bulk movement of soil and rock materials or debris down the slope. It is responsible because of the pull of the gravity. So it is always working on the force of the gravitational pull, or rapid or gradual sinking of the earth due to failure of the ground surface. So it is predominantly a vertical direction activities of formation, or formally of the land feature. The term mass wasting refers to various processes, uh, uh, by which large masses of crustal materials, that is the material which is there available on the crust, are degraded and moved away from by gravity from one place to another. More recent, the term mass movement has been substituted to include mass wasting. The process and the sinking of the confined areas of the earth in earth's ground surface. Mass may mass movement one slow on slope, and sinking mass movement are on slopes are lesser on an abided by the water, and it is basically due to the water which plays a important role here. Now, varieties of downslope mass movement that reflects the diversity of the factors that are responsible for the origin, such as factor including weathering or erosional debris, covers land slopes, so which is usually labeled as mass movement. So again, we have seen earlier that the weathering process are responsible for the formation of the or the degradation or fragmentation of the rock materials. Now they are called rock wasting. The movement of the weathered materials from one place to another place is due to the gravitational force, is also known as mass movement or mass wasting. So according to R.J. Chorley, mass movement is the detachment and the downslope transport of soil and rock materials under the influence of gravity. The sliding of these material is due to their position and gravitational forces, but mass movement is accelerated by presence of water, ice, and air. Okay, so there is a close relationship between tectonic and mass movement. The mass movement is common in highlands and mountainous areas, whereas rocks are you know uh, formed or shattered, and the slopes are steeper actually. And actually, in blocking the slope and transport, the weather rock debris take place mainly due to the force of gravity, without any medium of transportation like running water, glacier, and so on and so forth. The types of mass wasting, we have rapid movement, very rapid movement, and slow movement. In very rapid movement, mass wasting or mass movement, we have slump, debris, slides of landslides, debris fall, rock slides are all part of very rapid movement of soil. Then you have rapid movement of earth, that is earth flow, mud flow, sheet, they are all slow creeping, or mud creep. They are all rapid movement of mass, but sorry movement of mass wasting is there, or mass movement is there, but in a rapid form. Then again, slow movement, here we have rock creep, soil creep, fluctuation are all part of slow process of mass movement. Okay, then we have like RJ Chole has explained that in 1985 classified mass movement on the basis of directions and types of movement of the rocks. Like vertical movement will have rock fall, earth fall, debris fall, and topple. So vertical movement, when things are falling off from a higher altitude to lower floor. Then you have subsidence, when sinking of the ground surface takes place. So it can be sinking, uh, mine caves collapsing, or settlement of groundwater settling down further downward, are all part of you know um yeah. So the lateral movement is like sidewise movement is side that is slide. One thing is rocks and materials are sliding over, and one is spreading around. The slides, the movement of the material takes place where there are horizontal fractures, or where rocks of different resistance are found close together. For example, when hard sandstone and soft shells rocks lie together. Rock sides, block slide is also very common type of slide, in which a single large block of mass rock comes down the slope, which is lubricated by water, spreading like in this movement the lateral displacement of a series of mud blocks or rock blocks takes place. The spreading of two types, like crumbling and sucking. Okay, sucking. Crumbling is when things are breaking down and falling down the slope. Suckling is material that is literally spreads away through an anti-syncline crest. Okay, then we have diagonal movement, that is creeping, slides and flow. Okay, they are diagonal movement of the mast wasting. Okay, creeping is of also three types, that's soil creep, rock creep and talus creep. Then we have slides, that is rock slide, debris slides, soil creep, slumping are all part of sliding. Flow is earth flow, debris flow, mud flow are types of flow. So these are also types of landslides. Okay, we can also categorize into the landslides. So we have studied about various types of landslides. So rockfall and landslides are, at the bottom of the eroded talus. You have talus at the bottom, where large rocky materials are left behind. Okay, and this is a image which shows that a piece of land has broken away and slided down towards the riverbed, which can also cause inundation of flooding. Flash flooding can happen because of the landslides in the river bed. Okay, so these are the images of landslide, how materials, rock materials, when they slide down, they can wash away hard concrete structures and can cause lot of damages to life and property. These are again how it starts. It starts with the fracture, where loosening of the surface happen. Then scrapping happens, it slumps down, it scraps down here further. Then this scrap is further slumping downwards in a concave manner, and this is called slump blocks. These blocks are called slump blocks. Okay, all right. So this is all of your mass movement and weathering activities. I would like all of you to go to your LMS and take the weekly quiz. Okay.